Hello, Algebra 2 students. We're going to go over a few of the problems from the worksheet. That is your homework for tonight. The first one I'd like to go over, number 4 right here. We have a monomial times a binomial times a binomial. Now there's several ways to do this, but me personally, I think the easiest thing to do is to FOIL first, multiply the two binomials together, and then distribute the monomial. So that's what I'd like to do. Now if you remember how to multiply binomials, you can use the FOIL method. First times first would give you x squared. Outer times outer would give you 5x. Inner times inner will give you 3x. And last times last will give you 15. Now all of this is just inside of this expression. We still have to multiply by the x. I'm going to simplify one more step inside of the parentheses here, combining like terms to get a simplified trinomial, and then my next step is going to be to distribute that x that was outside. So my final step, x times x squared would be x cubed, x times 8x would be 8x squared, and then x times 15 is 15x. And that would be your final answer right there. Now, if you wanted to, you could also distribute the x first and then FOIL, but I think it's easier to do it this way. Okay, now number 6, we got to be careful. Okay, this is going to involve something that's a very common algebra mistake. A very common mistake is people look at this and they want to distribute the exponent over addition and get something like this. But no, that is not correct. Okay, the square of a sum is not equal to the sum of the squares. Instead, we have to write it out twice. To square something means to multiply it by itself, so you'd have to write it out twice and then FOIL, multiply. So notice that this is what you'd get instead, because x times x is x squared, x times y and y times x will give you 2xy's, and y times y is y squared. So if you do this, you're actually not including that middle term right here. And so that middle term is important. So anyway, okay, we're going to go back to this one. So as I said, this means that we're going to have 2x times x plus 5 times another x plus 5. And my preference is to FOIL these first, to multiply those binomials first. So I'm going to do that. First times first will be x squared. Outer times outer will be 5x. Inner times inner will be another 5x. And then last times last will be 25. Okay, I'm going to simplify inside the parentheses before distributing the 2x. X squared plus 10x plus 25. And now on my final step, I'm going to distribute the 2x. So I have 2x to the third plus 20x squared plus 50x. And that would be my final answer. Okay, let's look at one that's a little bit more complicated. This one right here, we're going to be distributing a 4d squared. So I guess it's not really that much more complicated. It's just going to involve higher exponents. All right, I'm going to FOIL first, multiply the binomials. 6d times d is 6d squared. 6d times 2 is 12d. The inner terms, negative 1 times d is negative d, and negative 1 times 2 would be negative 2. And all of that is inside a grouping symbol like parentheses, and it's all going to be multiplied by 4d squared. I'm going to simplify inside the parentheses first. 6d squared, positive 12d, negative 1d would leave you with 11d, and then minus 2. Now I can distribute the 4d squared, which you wouldn't, I guess you could do it before, but this way is easier. Okay, 4d squared times 6d squared. They're like terms, but that's not what we're doing here. We're multiplying. So 4 times 6 is 24, and it's going to be d to the fourth, because when you multiply, you add the exponents. All right, plus 4d squared times 11d, that's going to be 44d to the third, and 4d squared minus 2 would be negative 8d squared. And that would be your final answer. Okay, now this one actually has something a little special to it, so I saved it for the last. Okay, once again, I'm going to use the FOIL method to multiply the binomials. 2x times 2x would be 4x squared. 2x times negative 3y would be negative 6xy. In the inner terms right here, 3y times 2x, again it's going to be 6, but I'm going to write it as xy instead of yx. And then positive 3y times negative 3y is going to be negative 9y squared. Okay, sorry I ran out of room there. Okay, so I'm going to simplify inside the parentheses. All right, you'll notice this one's kind of special because it has negative 6xy and positive 6xy, which cancel out when you combine the like terms. So we're left with only 4x squared minus 9y squared. This is called a difference of squares. We talked about this in class. This up here is a conjugate pair, and conjugate pairs make difference of squares. We're going to use that later as well. Okay, now I'm ready to distribute. And so I have 5 times 4, it's 20. Now x times x squared will give you x to the third, and then you just tack on the y. Here, 5 times 9 is, we've got negative 9, so it's negative 45. X, and then the y is going to be to the third power because we have y then times y to y squared. Now these right here, even though they both have an x and a y and they both have a cubed, since the cube is not on the same variable, those are not like terms. So that is as simplified as it gets. Hope that helped.